Hello, it's me, Nancy, today. New hat today. Gee, do you realize that I started Nancy today on, created the 26th of November, 2007. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 6 years. 6 years of my life and the life of my family are on here. That's pretty cool. That's a lot of stuff. There's thousands of videos. There's 14,289. And lifetime views, there's been 8,644,478. Isn't that cool? That's really neat. You know, I used to be a travel writer, and when we would sit around at lunch sometimes, we would talk about other stuff. And I remember telling some travel writers in Hawaii about my life. About my teepees and my teacup trail, and about the dump, the reuse center at the dump, and about the greenhouse and basket making and soap making and weaving and spinning. And actually, I don't think I was doing all of that then. But anyway, I told them about my life, and they said, someone should do an article on you. That was back when I was writing for magazines. And of course, nobody did. But now, I have shared it with you. You know, I remember looking in a magazine once and seeing ideas, and I was just blown away. I don't read magazines. I guess you can tell that. I come up with my own ideas. I get lots of ideas, and so then I do them. And I read a magazine once, and I was so amazed. Look at this. This is all the ideas are in here. Look at that. People. No wonder people can come up with things that don't get ideas themselves. People share their ideas. I felt it was sort of like cheating to look in magazines to get ideas. I used to look in Better Homes and Gardens for Gingerbread House. The Gingerbread House, I think it was in the November issue. They always had a contest, and they had the best gingerbread houses. I used to always look for them. Good Housekeeping. Sorry, not Better Homes and Gardens. Good Housekeeping. But that's the only magazine I really bothered with. And that was the only issue I really bothered with. Everything else that I needed to know was in a book or online or something. Except maybe the Ensign, church magazines and stuff. So I have done all of that in 7 years. I have, how many videos are here? 14,000. 14,000. I remember when it was 12,000, it was like, oh my gosh, what does this woman do? All I do is make videos. And I thought, well, and I did see at some point that I used to be about 10 videos a day I would upload. I don't know what it is now. It varies, right? Some days I make lots of videos, and some days I just don't feel like making a video. I just lay around and do nothing. Or sometimes I do a lot of stuff, but just don't feel like getting my camera out. Or sometimes my cameras don't work. They need to be charged. Some cameras work better than other cameras. Some cameras, you can upload stuff very quickly, like my iPod. This is not a phone, it's just a little iPod, which is like a mini computer as long as you've got someplace where you're on Wi-Fi. Look at that, there is sunshine out there today. And it's not April yet. Yes, sunshine in Canada. Yay. It's -10 out there. I took my, I think I started to tell you something else and I changed the subject. Well, that's just part of what Nancy Today is all about, isn't it? Changing the subject right in the middle of things. Willem watered my geraniums. They've started to bloom in here. Aren't they pretty? They need to be deadheaded. Somebody said you had to deadhead them so they would keep blooming, but I think they bloom anyway. They love to bloom in my house. They didn't bloom all summer. We have that big, huge tree over there, which takes up so much room now, a hibiscus tree. And it was small when it was given to me. It was really small, I think. How big was that hibiscus when Tish gave it to us?
Where is it?
over by my loom at the end of the piano. Looks like the house of a hoarder.
About the same height, but not as big around, I think.
Really? It was that tall?
Yeah.
No. I'll have to look it up and see when she gave it to us, and so I'll know how much. I have to tie all the branches together now because they will spread out and fill the whole room. And there just is not room in this house for all this stuff. Nope. It's very amazing when I lie here and look up at the ceiling. You remember this house when it was not so crowded. Well, you know, I get new activities. And some people would say, oh, I couldn't have a loom in my house. I don't have room. Well, that never stopped me, did it, Willem? You're right, he says. I'm so blessed that he doesn't mind. See all these baskets up there? Baskets, 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 baskets. And they're in long lines all the way to the ceiling. And then gourds and mugs. Lots of mugs. I get a mug every place I've gone. Not every place. I have some blank mugs, and one day I think what I'm going to do is put names of people on them that I have met. The YouTube people, only their first names, and I won't put their locations. But I would just think it would be neat to have the names of everybody. Because I have traveled a lot, and I go and stop in and visit people. I think that's come to a close, though, because my sweetheart is not into long journeys of visiting from one to the next to the next to the next. Unlike me. Anyway, I was going to tell you about my cameras. So this one is an iPod. And I have my, I have a Panasonic 70X optical zoom camera. And it's not digital zoom and it's not extended zoom, it's optical zoom. So far, far, far away you could see a porcupine in a tree and zoom in on them. If you ever come across a camera like that, snap it up. It is so worth it. I had 2 of them. They've both died since then. One of them, I kept sending it back for repairs for the last year, and they couldn't figure out the problem. It would get too bright. It wouldn't do anything because it was too bright. Oh well. I had it for 4-year warranty. It cost a lot of money with all that warranty. I started out with a little Kodak camera. It was just a small Kodak camera. Had a video, and it did have a zoom, which I never discovered for quite a while. But you couldn't zoom it while you were videoing. And I used to hold it under my neck so I could video what I was working on. So I had 2 hands free. That worked really well for quite a long time, but then the videos would stop. They would just break in the middle. And you had to buy batteries for it. Like I had rechargeable batteries, but you had these little camera battery that you had to buy. But these other ones, you just plug them in. These are so good. I have an underwater camera, which is recent. I forget what that one is called. It's the blue one. It's in the blue package. But that one's really good. And then I have a Handycam, which is also really good. But it doesn't zoom as far. You can't get porcupines like way up far, far, far away. But I do a lot of zooming with my camera. I do. Not this camera. This camera doesn't zoom. So it's become a way of life that anything I do that's interesting, I film it. Like those things, I used to write for magazines, and I used to think, well, about these. Once I discovered that they had ideas in magazines, and I thought about my ideas and putting them in magazines and selling them. But I just never did get around to that. I had 5 children, and they were all at home back in those days. There was 10-year spread between the first one and the third one. 8 years between the second and the third. I had lots of miscarriages. I had 7 miscarriages. Anyway, so I've just been going through and seeing things on my videos. Okay, so that's that, and we'll talk to you later. And you've heard it here last, and we're coming to you from the Situation Room, my living room. Bye.